The Silent Vow. Commander Maya Chen watched the holographic projection as it showed the complete annihilation of New Eden. The human colony, home to 15 million civilians, vanished in a blinding flash. The recording had been transmitted by a deep space probe just before it too was destroyed. Her hands trembled as she clenched them into fists. "Play it again," she ordered, her voice barely a whisper. The alien commander appeared on the screen. Its translucent carapace shimmered with iridescent blues and purples as its 4 eyes focused on the camera. The universal translator rendered its clicking speech into cold, clinical English. "Human expansion ends today. The Vraxian Empire has determined your species to be an unacceptable future threat. This cleansing is merciful. Accept your limitations or face extinction." The recording cut to the orbital bombardment. Massive energy weapons tore through New Eden's atmosphere, turning cities to ash in seconds. Maya forced herself to watch. Her wife Elena and their daughter had been visiting Maya's parents on New Eden. All gone now. The emergency council chamber fell silent as the recording ended. General Takahashi broke the stillness. "We've counted 3 colonies hit simultaneously. New Eden, Proxima Centauri Station, and Demeter's Haven. 42 million dead." "And our response?" Defense Minister Alvarez asked. "We need someone who understands what we're up against," Takahashi said. "Someone with the tactical brilliance to fight an enemy this advanced, and the motivation to never give up." All eyes turned to Maya. She stood rigidly at attention, her face a mask of controlled grief. "I accept command," she said simply. The briefing continued into the night. The Vraxians had contacted Earth, demanding humanity's immediate surrender and abandonment of all off-world colonies. Their terms: humans would be confined to Earth and the Luna settlements. Any attempt to expand would result in Earth's destruction. "What do we know about their capabilities?" Maya asked. "Their ships appeared through what we believe to be artificial wormholes," Science Director Raman explained. "Their weapons are energy-based, beyond anything we've developed. Conservative estimates suggest they're at least a century ahead of us technologically." Defense Minister Alvarez looked grim. "Our largest battleships wouldn't last 5 minutes against their smallest vessels." Maya nodded, absorbing the information. "And what are our options?" "The Security Council is divided," Takahashi said. "Half want to surrender to buy time. The other half want to launch everything we have at them immediately. Both approaches get humanity wiped out." Maya observed. "Exactly why you're here, Commander. We need a third option." Maya walked to the window overlooking Earth's nightscape, the lights of megacities glittering across the dark continents. She thought of Elena's smile, of her daughter's laughter. "Show me everything we have. Every ship, every weapon, every research project, even the classified ones." 48 hours later, Maya presented her plan to the Security Council. Operation Phoenix would be the most ambitious military project in human history. "We'll appear to submit," she explained. "We'll publicly accept their terms while secretly building something they'll never expect." "Which is?" President Cozy asked. "A fleet unlike anything humanity has created before. Not built to match their technology, built to counter it." The plan was audacious. Earth would officially accept the Vraxian terms, decommissioning its military ships in full view of the alien observers. Meanwhile, a massive secret operation would begin in the shadow of Saturn, hidden from the Vraxians' monitoring stations. 3 years, Maya said. "We need 3 years to build this fleet." "The public will never accept waiting that long for justice," Minister Alvarez objected. "They will if they understand what's at stake," Maya countered. "Not just revenge, survival." The vote was close, but Operation Phoenix was approved. The next day, Earth transmitted its formal acceptance of the Vraxian terms. The alien commander looked pleased in his response. "You have chosen wisely. We will be watching." They didn't know that deep within Saturn's rings, construction had already begun. 6 months later, Maya visited the secret shipyards for the first time. Chief Engineer Kamala Patil guided her through the massive facility hidden inside a hollowed-out moonlet. "We're building 20 Phoenix-class vessels simultaneously," Patil explained, her voice echoing in the cavernous construction bay. Above them, the skeleton of the first ship took shape, already larger than any vessel humanity had previously constructed. "We intercepted enough Vraxian communications to begin understanding their technology," Patil continued. "But it's what we found in their attack patterns that's the real breakthrough." In a secured laboratory, Patil showed Maya the core of their strategy. The Vraxians rely on fixed energy frequencies for their weapons and shields. They've been the dominant species for so long they've stopped innovating. Their technology is powerful, but predictable. "And we're exploiting that predictability?" Maya asked. "Precisely. Our adaptive systems will analyze their energy signatures in real time and immediately recalibrate to counter them. Their weapons will become ineffective, and our own will bypass their shields entirely." Maya studied the schematics. "Will it work?" "In simulations, yes. In actual combat," Patil paused. "This is entirely theoretical technology. We're building something that's never existed before." "Make it work, Engineer Patil. 42 million lives are counting on you." On Earth, the deception continued flawlessly. Military vessels were publicly decommissioned. Space exploration was officially abandoned. Human leaders made speeches about focusing inward rather than reaching for the stars. The Vraxians observed all this with satisfaction, their monitoring stations recording exactly what humanity wanted them to see. Meanwhile, the best scientific minds on Earth were secretly relocated to Saturn. Quantum physicist Dr. Abena Osi developed revolutionary shield technology that could adapt to any energy weapon. Engineer George Mendez created propulsion systems that would make the Phoenix fleet faster and more maneuverable than anything the Vraxians possessed. A year passed. Then, too, the Vraxians reduced their patrols near Earth, confident in humanity's submission. They didn't detect the steady stream of disguised cargo ships carrying components and personnel to the Saturn shipyards. Maya rarely slept. When she did, she dreamed of New Eden, of Elena's laugh, and her daughter's drawings hung on their refrigerator. She channeled her grief into determination, visiting the memorial in Geneva where the names of the 42 million victims were etched in stone. "Soon," she whispered to herself, "soon they'll understand what happens when you underestimate humanity." In the third year, the fleet neared completion. Maya stood on the observation deck with General Takahashi, watching as workers applied the final sections to the flagship's hull. "We're ahead of schedule," Takahashi noted. "The fleet will be ready in 2 months." Maya nodded. "Begin crew training immediately. I want everyone battle-ready when we launch." The crews are already selected. All of them lost someone in the attacks. "Good. They'll fight harder." Takahashi hesitated. "Maya, what happens after? If we win this fight, what then?" She turned to him, her eyes reflecting the distant light of Saturn. "Then we make sure no species ever again thinks they can determine humanity's place in the universe." The day finally arrived. The Phoenix fleet gathered at the edge of the solar system, hidden within the magnetic field of Jupiter. 30,000 crew members, all volunteers, all with personal reasons to fight, prepared for battle. On the bridge of the flagship Nemesis, Commander Maya Chen gave the order. "All ships, prepare for dimensional jump. Our destination is the Vraxian primary outpost at Alpha Centauri." She looked one last time at the image of the alien commander who had announced the merciful cleansing of New Eden. "They thought humanity wouldn't retaliate," she said quietly. "They were wrong." The fleet vanished in a silent flash. Jumping toward enemy space, the reckoning had begun. Reckoning. Captain Zextoral of the Vraxian border fleet had served the Empire faithfully for 3 cycles. His posting at the edge of human space was considered a soft assignment, monitoring a subdued species that had wisely accepted its limitations. When the alarm sounded, he initially assumed it was a malfunction. "Sir, "We're detecting massive energy distortions in Sector 7, his sensor officer reported, mandibles clicking with agitation. Before Zextoral could respond, space itself seemed to fold open. Where there had been emptiness, suddenly 30 massive vessels materialized, each bearing the insignia of Earth. "Impossible," he whispered. "Alert High Command." A single message broadcast across all frequencies. "You mistook patience for weakness." The Vraxian defense fleet was obliterated in minutes. The human vessels moved with impossible speed, their weapons bypassing Vraxian shields entirely. Meanwhile, the energy beams from the Vraxian ships seemed to bend around their targets, sometimes even reflecting back on their source. On the Nemesis, Maya watched the tactical display with cold satisfaction. "Send the second wing to their military base at Alpha Centauri," she ordered her XO, Commander Jackson. "Status report," she continued. "Enemy fleet neutralized, Commander," the tactical officer replied. "0 casualties on our side. Their weapons are ineffective against our adaptive shields." Across Draxian space, panic spread. Their leadership had assured them humans were primitive, easily controlled. Now the most powerful armada their sensors had ever detected was methodically dismantling their defenses. In the Imperial Palace on the Vraxian homeworld, High Commander Vex Mordai watched the battle feeds with growing horror. His chitinous exoskeleton darkened with stress as more reports flooded in. "This is impossible," he hissed. The humans were contained. They accepted their place. Ambassador Kazvarek, recently recalled from Earth, cowered before his superior. "They deceived us. Their submission was a lie." "How?" demanded Vex Mordai. "How did they build such a fleet without our knowledge? How did they develop technology that counters our own?" No one had answers. The Vraxians had grown complacent in their dominance. For 12 generations, they had encountered no species that could challenge them. Their strategy had always worked. Identify potentially threatening races, destroy their outer colonies as a show of force, then watch them either accept subordinate status or destroy themselves trying to fight back. The humans had done neither. They had pretended to submit while secretly preparing a response more powerful than anything the Vraxians had imagined possible. "Deploy the home defense fleet," ordered Vex Mordai. "All available ships to Alpha Centauri. We must stop them there." As the orders went out, more alarming reports arrived. Human ships had been detected near 5 other key Vraxian installations. Somehow, they were everywhere at once. Back on the Nemesis, Maya received an incoming transmission. "It's from the Vraxian High Command," reported Communications Officer Singh. "They're requesting to open negotiations." Maya's expression didn't change. No response. They had their chance to negotiate 3 years ago. The quantum drives finished recharging. With another fold in space, the Phoenix fleet disappeared, only to reappear moments later in orbit around Alpha Centauri, once a human scientific outpost, now a Vraxian military base. "We have surrounded the planet," reported Captain Rivera of the Second Wing. "Their defense grid is active." "Begin the attack," Maya ordered. "Target military installations only." The battle for Alpha Centauri was even more one-sided than the border engagement. The Vraxian defenders watched in horror as their weapon fire curved around human ships, sometimes striking their own defense platforms. The human vessels moved with impossible speed, appearing and disappearing as their quantum drives allowed them to jump short distances within the battle zone. "Vraxian reinforcements arriving," Commander Jackson reported. Maya nodded. "Let them come. The more ships they commit, the fewer they'll have to defend their homeworld." The reinforcements fared no better than the defenders. Within 2 hours, the Vraxian military presence at Alpha Centauri had been completely eliminated. "Send teams to the surface," Maya ordered. "I want any intelligence they have about their other military installations." As human troops secured Alpha Centauri, news of the devastating defeats spread throughout Vraxian space. For the first time in 12 generations, the Empire faced a superior force. On the homeworld, civil unrest broke out as the truth became known. The Imperial Council had hidden the extent of the human counterattack, but could not contain the information as refugees from outlying systems arrived with tales of the unstoppable human fleet. 4 days after the initial attack, the Phoenix fleet had destroyed 70% of the Vraxian military capability. Human ships appeared and disappeared across their territory, striking key installations before the Vraxians could mount any effective defense. Finally, Maya received the message she had been waiting for. Commander, Vraxian High Command is broadcasting on all frequencies. High Commander Vex Mordai is requesting direct communication with our leadership. Maya straightened her uniform. Put him through. The alien commander's image appeared on the main screen. His once brilliant carapace had dulled with stress, his 4 eyes sunken. Commander Chen, he began, his translated voice subdued. The Vraxian Empire requests an immediate cessation of hostilities. We are prepared to offer. You're not in a position to offer anything. Maya cut him off. 3 years ago, you attacked our colonies without provocation. You killed 42 million civilians and expected us to accept it. You were wrong. We believed your species would become a threat, Vex Mordai explained. Our predictive models showed humans expanding aggressively through the galaxy within 50 years. We have always eliminated potential threats before they develop. And how has that strategy worked for you, High Commander? The alien was silent. The Nemesis will arrive at your homeworld in 6 hours, Maya continued. You will meet me in person, and we will discuss the terms of your surrender. The meeting took place in the Imperial Palace. Maya walked through the ornate halls flanked by her officers, her face betraying no emotion as she entered the grand chamber where the Vraxian leadership awaited. Your empire ends today, she stated without preamble. But unlike you, we don't believe in genocide. Humanity's terms are simple: complete demilitarization, reparations for the colonies you destroyed, and your technology shared with all species in this sector of the galaxy. You would destroy our way of life, protested one of the counselors. You destroyed 42 million of ours, Maya replied coldly. Consider this mercy. After 6 hours of negotiation, the terms were finalized. The Vraxian Empire would be dissolved. A new galactic council would be established, with representatives from Earth and all former Vraxian subject worlds. No species would be allowed to dominate another through force again. As Maya prepared to leave, High Commander Vex Mordai approached her privately. You could have destroyed us completely, he observed. Why didn't you? Maya looked at him, seeing not a monster but a being who had made a terrible miscalculation. Because then we would have become what you feared, conquerors who eliminate any who stand in our way. Humanity chooses a different path. We build, we learn, we grow. And yes, we fight when necessary. But we don't exterminate. She turned to leave, then paused. Your predictive models weren't entirely wrong, High Commander. Humanity will expand through the stars, but not as conquerors, as explorers, builders, and when needed, protectors. 6 months later, Maya stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Council headquarters, built in orbit around where New Eden had once been. Below, construction teams from a dozen species worked together to rebuild the colony. Admiral Takahashi joined her, now wearing the uniform of Earth's representative to the Council. The Phoenix fleet completes its tour of the former empire next month, he informed her. Every world we visit asks for human assistance with technology, infrastructure, education. Maya nodded. And how are the Vraxians adapting? Better than expected. Without their military focus, they're channeling resources into medicine and environmental restoration. Their scientists are working with ours on joint projects. She watched as a memorial light was activated at the center of the new settlement, a beam that would shine into space for the 42 million lost. They thought humanity wouldn't retaliate, Maya said quietly. They were wrong, but they also thought we would be like them, that we would destroy rather than rebuild. They were wrong about that too. In the darkness of space, the light of New Eden shone once more, not as a beacon of vengeance, but as a symbol of humanity's resilience and its determination to forge a better future among the stars.